You, Col.
Cheers. Thanks, Lewis. My name's Collin. I'm an addict. I need precise instructions, really. Is it either 15 or 20 minutes? Can you have a conscience
I'll give you a nudge.
Okay.
When you're running out of time.
Because it's like anything. If you just give me an inch, man, I'm taking a mile. So you need to really tell me. And that ain't changed. And I was thinking, I like my cup. I'm 40 and I'm naughty, so I'm still in denial around quite a few bits and pieces. And I still think I'm naughty, but I certainly ain't 40 no more. But 40 was the age that I got clean, and I was 40 when I first came to Cocaine Anonymous, via a treatment centre, which sent me off to a Cocaine Anonymous convention, and the rest is history. Really, it's just that I'm a drug addict that likes taking heroin mostly, and then likes crack cocaine. But really, I'll have any drug. But there was always an argument in my house with me and the wife. She would rather the crack, I'd rather the heroin, and I always lost out there as well. So my story is, and a lot of people have heard it. So I don't really want to go into the big drug thing. I expect I will, because now I've said it. Once you say it, it goes into it, doesn't it? Yeah. So, glue sniffer, Evo stick. Can we have any hands raised for Evo stick? That's it. At least I feel at home. Cheese and onion crisp bag? No? Oh, I've got one. All right. And so that was me first sort of one with the Evo stick. And then from there it sort of progressed to, I was going to say puff, but I had like a couple of joints once, and a chillum, and that was about it. Certain things I've got the power to stop over, and that I had. Do you know what I mean? As long as there's a bit of heroin around, and so that was like 13, 14. And then time, I'm 14 and 15. I'm a heroin addict, and I'd say at that age I'm what the big book talks about of the hopeless variety. There's, could I have stopped back then? I don't think I could. I'd already crossed that line, if there is a line. Actually, I think when I sniffed the glue, I crossed the line. I intravenously injected heroin for many years, and really had no intentions of stopping taking drugs at all. The reason being is I couldn't see anything wrong in what I was doing. If anybody had a problem with it, that was their problem, it wasn't mine. So I am talking about my family. That would, when I think about it now, my mum used to cry herself to sleep, when I was like 14 years of age, because of what I was doing to myself, really, in the next bedroom. And she never knew what to do, She used to give me the money to go to this private doctor up the West End, because she comes from the school that if you're a professional doctor, you must be doing right by my son. So she would pay anything, to do good by me. And not that we had loads of money, because we didn't, but she would starve herself to give me, and actually she'd starve my two sisters as well. I'd get the food and the drugs. Because I was like the sport one of the family. My father left a long time, and I lived with these three women that just doted on me, really. And I got everything. So, but I couldn't stop taking drugs. You know, absolutely powerless. Well, I know now to be powerless. I thought children would stop me. So I had my first child when I was 14. That didn't work. I thought, try another one at 15. That didn't work. And it kept going on, you know. Because I had the idea that if I was a father, a dad, right, I'd become responsible. Right? And I didn't really have any role models, right? But what I saw on the telly was me prescription for life, right? Because no one ever showed me. So I'd think, oh look, that fella's good with his kids. That's how you need to be, you know. And but if you're a drug addict, you can't be like that. So you know, for years, I would think I was actually a terrible man, or if I'd call myself a man, you know. I suppose I was in body, but certainly not in mind. You know, and so as the years went on, you know, me and my partner, we used together, had more children. We actually had quite a nice house, which my mother furnished. And every time I sold stuff from the house, she would replace it all again. You know, and you know, and by then she was doing it for the children as well, you know, because she didn't want the children living in a not so nice house. I tried lots of like treatment centres and detoxes, but I can honestly say that at no point did I actually go in there because I wanted to stop. And that maybe is one of the differences this time round. You know, I only went in because I'd been nicked. My mum wanted me to go in. My wife said I was to blame and it was best that I went in. You know, she's had a rude awakening since then. You know, so I never went into any of these treatment centres with any conviction that I was actually, and I didn't, if I'm honest, I didn't realise you had to be abstinence. You know, if someone said you had to be abstinence, I couldn't even ask you what that meant. You know, I just didn't quite get that you was never allowed to drink anything, and you're not allowed to take nothing, not even one little tunal. Yeah, if I get some laughters, at least I know someone's had some tunal as well. You can't take them and not fight. You always end up fighting on them. Yeah, so as the years went on, you know, with me, and I know this is not the case with everybody, prison sentences came because, you know, I'm breaking the law constantly. Me and the wife were a bit like Bonnie and Clyde of the shoplifting trade, or so we thought. She was actually much better at it than me. I was just rubbish. So anyhow, so you know, what I didn't say, my sobriety date's the 17th of November 2003, and that was the day that I was in court and come from court, went to Bournemouth, and I haven't drunk or used since, which I find really like it's a miracle, because I've made it from a Crown Court in London to Bournemouth and didn't even buy a drink, or I wasn't too far from where I come from, and didn't even slip back to the housing estate and just have a quick bit of gear before I went to Bournemouth. Didn't do none of that stuff. And I don't even know if it entered my mind. So maybe, you know, somewhere, you know, this program we talk about higher powers and God, or, you know, or whatever it is for you, you know, but at some point on the 17th of November in 2003, something had my back. That's for sure. And, you know, I was going to say I bought a railway ticket to Bournemouth, but I didn't actually. I think the courts paid for it. and I went to a treatment centre, and you know, the treatment centre sent me to meetings, and it was great back then. There was. I mean, people might tell me different afterwards, but to my memory, there was one CA meeting, and it was in Haviland Road on a Monday night, in a little art centre, and it was like, for me, it was like coming home. You know, and there's not actually anybody in this room now, but at some of the other meetings I go to, I see some people that were in that meeting, and it was. I was there. Oh, you was. Sorry, Adi. Adi's there. Was she there, Meek?
Yes.
Okay, so I see. Well, when you get past 40, you get a bit senile as well. I do apologise, but it was just fantastic. There was so much enthusiasm in the room, and I'd come from this treatment centre. I was still in treatment, but this is how it felt for me. There was so much enthusiasm, and everybody was like on fire about not taking drugs, which is like nuts, isn't it? Really, when you think about it. You know, everybody's excited because they haven't taken any drugs. Are you mad? You know, but it's easy, and I just got like rushed along with the flow of it all. You know, there's a few people screaming with this big book thing and rattling, you know, chapter after chapter, and about the big book, and I wanted to be part of that. You know, that's the sort of person I am. I need to fit in. You know, I don't read very well, so there was a struggle straight away. But you know, maybe a lot of people don't know this. I couldn't read at all, really. But I went back in my dry house and started to learn to read on my own, the big book. You know, and happily today I can read a lot better. You know, and you know, it's sort of then a convention came, and there was some great speakers from America, and then I wanted to be one of the great speakers from America. You know, I thought that's just that means recovery if you're a great speaker. You know, I've since learnt a lot more since then. It's not necessarily down to the speaking. But in that, it kept me like that. I just wanted to keep getting involved with Cocaine Anonymous. You know, my sponsor suggested that someone like me, I don't know if he meant that as an insult or not, but he said, but someone like you is going to end up using again, and you need to do everything to stop that. So, you know, I become a greeter at a meeting, which I found really difficult, right? Because, I know people won't have this, but I'm quite shy. Right? And I know people don't believe that, right? But I am, you know. I suffer with the same fears and anxieties, you know, which a lot of other people do. And I knew that, and I knew, but by doing this greeting job, as I called it, it's going to stand me in good stead, and also it get me to know people, because I struggled with, you know, talking, and so in helping Cocaine Anonymous, and, you know, and doing something for the group, it was also helping me. And then I wanted to be like Lewis is today, the taking the meeting, but that was really difficult as well, because I couldn't read very, very good, and so I had to. I started to memorise the idiot sheets, and I don't really know why the share's gone on this way, but I'm just sort of trying to let you know that this is what I had to do to stay clean and sober in the beginning, and And to be honest, I have to do a lot more today to stay clean and sober. It's you know, at some point I thought, oh, I can give up on some of this and I can relax a little bit. But it just happens that that's not my experience. Because my mind will twist in so many different areas that it'll always end up in some lie or deceit or whatever it may be, you know. So I have to be constantly on the ball around all of this, really. So I'm still praying the same prayers that I've been doing for over 13 years. I'm not no great spiritual guru. It's very basic. It's my prayers in the morning, but they're every morning. And it will be just, please God, help me stay clean and sober today and not get bad-tempered with the world. Because that's one of my problems, is I get bad-tempered with everybody because I always think I'm right. You know, and what that tends to do, that tends to stop me seeing the good that's in the world and the love. You know, and for me, I need to see love. Do you know what I mean? I need to see it, I need to feel it, I need to be it. And so it's quite a battle for me to get to that state, because I go to bed like flipping Buddha, and within that 6 hours, God knows what happens. It must be something to do with my partner, I'm sure, because she's the only person that's next to me for them 6 hours. But I wake up and I'm just a completely different person. I can't figure it out. Or maybe I don't need to figure it out. Maybe that's what I'm meant to be like, and that helps me get up in the morning and pray. You know, and I suppose just getting up in the morning and praying, that suggests that I've been restored to sanity. Because otherwise I'd be leaving the house in that nutty head. You know. So, you know, my recovery hasn't sort of landed how I thought it would. You know, when I got clean and I was like a year clean, I thought, well, this is what's going to happen down the line. You know, I'm bound to be a millionaire and, you know, have everything I want. But the truth of it is like I've just got exactly what I need. Right? And I've learnt in recovery to work for things and not just go out and take, you know, and anything that I've worked for seems to hang around a lot longer, you know, and yeah, so, you know, we've got my children all left home, and then we got, you know, my grandson come and lived with us because of unfortunate circumstances, which was difficult, you know, because I thought, you know, the kids have all gone, can do what I want to do. Me and the wife, you know, go on all the holidays we wanted to go on, and, you know, make up for lost time sort of stuff, you know, and we was doing that for a while, and then it stopped. But, you know, so you never know what God's going to throw down for you. You just never know. You know, you might think that you know. You know, it's like when you start the morning, you might think you know how your day's going to go. Right? And, you know, some of it could be correct, but when you look at it at the end of the day, you can look and you can see where God's made his mark. You know, well, I can anyhow, you know, and cheers, Lewis, at least you can write.
Wait till you read the little thing.
So I don't. My share's been a bit different tonight. I don't know. It's like I think it's because I come here and a lot of you guys know me, and I didn't think I need to go into the stuff that I've gone into many times before. I become a great grandfather last month.
Wow.
So my grandson had a little girl, and yeah, wow. And I think to myself, well, no, this is like I couldn't bring up my children when they were growing up. My family had to take them off of us, and then my daughter the other day, so it's my daughter's son that's had the little girl. She rang up and said, "Oh, please come to London and see your great granddaughter." That's just that just wouldn't have happened. I know this is not anybody's first Cocaine Anonymous meeting, if it is, we've just got to keep coming here, working the steps, you don't have to pray, that's for sure, but it's suggested that you do. And I think I'm going to leave it there. Thank you.